Oh my god, where has the time gone? It is Inktober 2025, and for those of you who have seen my previous 2 years of Inktober, yes, this is the same sketchbook I use for planning, and no, it's still not finished. It's like the sketchbook that never ends. This is the book that I'm going to be using for Inktober. It's a sea white watercolor notebook, and it's a travel journal. Fun fact, I was actually waiting for this to come in, and I did a few thumbnails of day 1, 2 and 3 in my downtime before filming this video, so I hope that's okay. I will show you my thumbnails for that. There's nothing like opening a brand new sketchbook. I chose this sketchbook because it's just a cheaper version of a moleskin one, and also I've used sea white paper before, so it's reliable. So I'm going to use this sketchbook to do the planning. I have actually done a couple of thumbnail sketches on my iPad, so let's get that out to start with. So to show you the first couple of ones that I've done, so we have mustache. This is my king character Jonathan. With his elder design, which he currently is in the timeline, he has a mustache. He's currently one of my only characters that I have with a mustache, so I was like, hey, I'll draw King Jonathan for it. Day 2, we have weave. Now, I was going to go with like basket weaving. You can see up here that there's like little weaving ribbons up here. And that was an idea, but I thought I'd go with Loki. And Loki is brushing her hair. So you could say that the brush is weaving through her hair. And also, Loki is just the character with the best weave, let's just say. Loki is Jonathan's daughter. So it kind of is really, really cute that you've got day 1 and day 2 as father and daughter. Then day 3 is crown. I did have a couple of ideas for crown in terms of like where it's positioned, so there's that. I do have a couple of little sketches for murky, but I wanted to try out color compositions in my sketchbook for that, so let's transition to the sketchbook. So using my viewfinder, I'm gonna do a few of these. Can I fit a couple more on here? Probably not, but I'll give it a go. Oh, I can, okay. I don't think we're going to get more than that, especially where I drew them. So I'm just going to copy some of the landscape thumbnails from my digital work, just in terms of composition, because I want to try out colour compositions. I think that's something that worked in previous years, and since this sketchbook has previous year's Inktober planning in there, these you can see how I used the colour compositions, and I kind of want to do it in a similar way, but I know that I'm probably going to be using acrylic pens as well. It's really interesting to see your development process from previous years. It might also spark some inspiration. Okay, this is 2024. At some point, there will be a sketchbook tour of this. I have not filmed in a while, and you can tell because I'm procrastinating with this. Oh, another thought I had in terms of murky could be rain. So you've also got like puddles on the floor. You've also got like moss. And I have done compositions with an abandoned theme before, so that could work too. I think the focus on this one is mainly going to be on the water. I don't know why, but when I think murky water, I think of like some of the Sims water. Like when I'm building, because I like building in the Sims, it helps my anxiety. Well, when the game actually wants to run. When I'm building in the Sims, I think of some of the swatches of the mossy, murky water. I'm thinking greens. You could also go with vines. I think I'm also going to make it quite muddy as well. I'm also thinking back to my previous piece known as Tivy. So Tivy had like a very green aesthetic, but it was a very clean sort of green. It was more like a refreshing kind of green, whereas I'm thinking sap green for this. It could be cloudy as well, so like murky doesn't have to mean the ground, it could be murky weather. So that could be added to the landscape as well. Murky doesn't really work as a narrative word. I usually do a lot of compositions narratively that fit in with the story, but like it fits in more with a location or like a type of weather rather than a narrative thing. It's more of a describing word because I am out of practice and I feel like every little thing that I'm doing with these videos is like wrong. Okay, so this one is more like a hillside overlooking. Could also be like a riverbank kind of thing. It doesn't even need to be by the seaside. I have no idea when I'm going to edit this video or when this video is going to come out. You saw on my iPad that I'm recording this on the 5th of September. Yet I'm due to actually have a new computer built. So I don't know when or where this will be edited, whether it will be on my old system or whether it will be in my new system or whether it will be on my laptop. I don't know. I haven't decided yet. I'm thinking of adding like water ripples to this one. Hang on, let me zoom in. Again, very rusty with filming. We could do like another puddle over here. We could do like cobblestones. Cobblestones could be fun, but I'm not going to do them. I'm not going to draw them. I think I'm going to like do them with either marker or paint or something. I don't know. Because I've been visiting my grandmother more over the last couple of months, I've actually put some Copic markers in this pencil case that was empty. I actually filled this water brush with a little bit of indigo ink and some water. It's basically like a little wash brush for on the go, so I can actually add the dark aspects. Because one of the techniques I picked up during my previous 2 Inktober's, so 2023 and 2024, is the indigo wash underneath, or like a wash of ink underneath. And my favourite colour, or like my default colour to go to, is indigo. I am scared of like overfilling it because I don't want to go too dark. So usually when I use this, especially when my nan's house, I have like a cup of water, like regular watercolors. It just helps tone down the color of the ink. So I will go over this with like marker or watercolor later, But having ink down first is a really, really good way to like not have it move. And it's still translucent, so you still see some of the paper texture. Oh, I will say that any of my traditional techniques, even some of my digital ones, is a very trust the process kind of thing. You are going to have ugly stages of your artwork. And I started doing that one out of frame. Oops! Great part about this ink wash is that I can add layers to it, so I can layer it up and it can be darker. I did try this effect with an indigo Copic marker and it did not work. Did not work the way I wanted it to. It's because the marker ink blended together. I have some clouds that I'm doing, like very haphazardly, I will say. Trust the process, guys. Trust the process. I definitely took out a bit too much on the brush right there, but oh well. Okay. I do have a paper towel somewhere, which we love that word in this house. Somewhere. To be honest, sometimes I forget which art supply has the technique of lighter to darker or darker to lighter with working with colours, and sometimes I just forget, so I just like wing it on the fly of like how I'm using the supplies. I usually have more fun when I'm winging it, or I've forgotten and I'm just like, oh, this is how I use them, okay. I'm learning how to art all over again. Okay, in terms of like where I put the colours, I definitely like this one the best, or at least how it's looking in this stage. I'm liking how it's looking. This is like an overgrown riverbed, I think. I have actually done some gouache work of like riverbeds and like plant life and stuff like that. I came across a bunch of like Instagram artists that did gouache paintings. I want to try that. So I did. I'm scared of it being like too dark for it. E04 is always like a good base colour. I don't know how to describe E04, but it's called Lipstick Natural, and there is a colour called, or like very, very similar to that in the Ohuhu range. But it's more neutral of a colour rather than like purple. At least as far as I'm aware, it is. So E71. So getting some E70s in there is definitely a way to get more murky. To be honest, I probably could have just stuck with the E70s like straight away. And I might need a refill of this marker. It's got like this really murky kind of green colour. Ooh. G82. Lighter green out. I'm gonna just do the green up here. Green in the water works to like make it more natural looking. Another thing that could have been done is probably like a castle landscape, like a dreary kind of castle landscape, that kind of thing. But I did quite a lot of those last year, mainly because the main thing with last year was it was all journey based, and by the end of Inktober I was crawling to the finish line. I had to be dragged to that finish line. It was painful. The amount of journey pieces. Oh, a pale blue grey, so like B60. And funnily enough, I do actually own 2 separate refills of this. I think I accidentally ordered like a second one when I didn't need it. Let's zoom out so you can actually see the mess on my desk right now. Yup, that's what it looks like. Everything is like that to the side. To be honest, I think I could do with opaque colours at this point. And so I'm going to switch to my acrylic pens. I actually had acrylic pens for Christmas last year. These are the Guang Na markers, I believe. I'm purposely like keeping a very, very light touch on it. I've tried the whole like color blocking thing with these markers and they work really well for it, but I feel like a light touch, especially for my line of work, definitely works a lot better. I will say the one thing I really don't like about especially smaller acrylic marker sets is the lack of variety in tone. Alcohol-based markers suffer with this problem as well. It's like it's all mid-tones, there's no contrasts, and to get the most out of them, or like to challenge yourself and push yourself with colours, having a good range of tones, not just colours, is really important, and it's like art companies forget that. I'm probably putting more work into these colour compositions than I really need to, but I haven't like sat down and drew in my sketchbook in a really long time, so I'm actually just using this as a chance to like fall back in love with traditional art, I guess. I don't know how long this video is going to be. Basically, this whole swatch sheet is my 72 set, and ones with like the little silver dots in them are actually from the 36 set as well. So I'm going to use the lighter colour first. I can always go back over with the lighter colour, to be honest. I wish I knew whether these were light fast or not, because that is literally the only thing that's probably stopping me from using them. I think I'm definitely being a little bit more experimental, which is fun. Here you can see a lot of stuff going on in the transparent layers, but you can also see the opaque water. This is more like a waterfall kind of thing. I guess I'm kind of scared to use murky colours. Oh, okay. Because a lot of my colour palettes are usually quite like bright and they're very pretty. So murky is definitely out of my comfort zone, at least a little bit, for sure. So I was going to do some like more colour composition up here, but I really like this one, like this puddle, this like murky puddle with like the weather implying that it's like a really dreary day. I'm really liking it. But it's not as murky as I was originally thinking it was going to be. I think it definitely needs more of like a sap green in there, for sure. Needs more yellow, I think. Or yellow. It needs more of a yellowy tone. And it definitely needs more darker tones as well. That's a bit too bright. Maybe a brown? I'm doing more opaque colours right now, mainly because it's so... There's just so much going on. But maybe going back to the transparent over the top of the opaque colours might actually help it. Like tone it down a bit. I'm just using the E77 just to like this is a real trial and error kind of day. Okay, I think what I'm going to do, just so you can see where the thing is, I'm just going to outline it, just so you have like a visual and you can actually zone into it of how it looks with the color composition and the way that it looks. Okay, that's not too bad. That's not too bad of a color bleed. I was expecting it to be a lot worse. So yeah, adding a bit of a translucent color over the top adds a little bit of like visual interest. Definitely deepens some of the colors for sure, which is good. That's what I wanted. Maybe I've gone a little bit too far on the puddle, but since that is an opaque colour, I can just go over the top of it to brighten it back up a bit. Live streaming has definitely been on my mind lately, but I know that I'm probably not gonna live stream until I've got my new system like fully set up. I recently brought the parts for my new computer and I'm hoping to get it by the end of September, but oh, that's gonna be pushing it. Whether it will be built by the end of September, I don't know, but like the parts, I have 7 out of 9 of the parts so far. I'm waiting on 2 of them before I can call my technician to build my PC. I do really like the way the water is looking on this, but it doesn't really scream murky to me, whereas like this one is kind of giving that impression. It's like it's helping that effect for sure, because I want it to be murky, but like it's finding that very fine line between murky and muddy. The red has definitely thrown it off. That EO7 is really giving other colours a run for its money. I definitely need to redo a swatch chart of my Copic colours. I'm actually wondering if putting some more indigo ink on top of it might actually tone it down. I'm going to try on this one first. Okay. That's an interesting effect. I haven't tried like a bunch of techniques with my acrylic pens before, so like this is actually a really interesting learning experience for me. I think I need to move on now because I've spent way too long on this. I've been recording for about an hour and literally that's what I've got. Yes, this video will be edited down. I need to add rain back to this because you can kind of see some of the rain, and I think that's why I like doing the rain early on a little bit, because you've got some that like blend into the background and some of them are in the foreground. So it kind of gives a little bit of like distance to it, which is, that's fun. A little bit of distance. And I can blend out some of the white gel pen before it dries. The thing with water is that you have to balance opacity and contrast, and it's a very fine line. Oh god dear. Do I draw my character Amari? So Amari is the deer character from my Instagram designs, my OCs. She's like a centaur kind of character. And she has been added to my character universe, but she hasn't been active in the timeline as of this moment in terms of the story. So number 5 is Deer. To be honest, I might need to look back at her design video. I know she has like big curls and stuff, so that could be fun. And I'm definitely not drawing these antlers. Okay. I'm doing this out of frame again. I am so rusty at this whole YouTube game. Oh my god. So we could do like a profile shot over here, but we could also do a full body kind of shot. Her reading, like with like cross-legged. I'm definitely going to have to pull up a reference for this one, but I'm not going to use references in terms of this video. I'm just going to use what's in my mind, but when drawing out the pose, I'm definitely going to be using some kind of reference. Maybe could have stuff hanging from her antlers, I guess, like maybe fairy lights or something. I don't know. I'm spitballing ideas. She could be like in a wooded area. I suppose like using some of the bits from like Murky could be an interesting one. I will say she is from Quillow, and Quillow is like a snowy kingdom. So there definitely could be like more winter aspects, or like more colder climate. I mean, I'm not going to be doing any colours over here, but I just want to fill in this space. Where is my view catcher? And here is where the mess on my desk comes to bite me in the arse. It was buried. Oopsie daisy. I wonder when a sketchbook tour for this sketchbook will be, because I've had this since, oh god, the 24th of July 2022. Jesus Christ on a bike. Will it make it to year 4? Stay tuned for next year. Okay, so we could do like a tree composition, and she's like peeking her head out from behind the tree. You know how like deers are quite like spooked. Usually when I'm not quite convinced on an idea, I definitely leave it in the dust pretty early. And this might be one of those ones where I leave behind pretty early. I don't know. I wasn't intending to spend majority of the video on one colour composition. Ah! Sometimes I'm like, why did I do that? But a lot of the time it's because I get into the flow. And I suppose it's a good thing, because you can tell that I'm comfortable with recording it. Let's zoom in, because I don't think you... whether you can even understand this sketch to some degree. Hopefully you can. So there's 2 characters that I'm thinking of specifically, and they were both from Instagram Designs My OCs series. So the first one was from episode 1, which is Amari, which is the one that I've been doodling. The other one I'm thinking of is Aloin, and she is the centaur type. But she's from a warmer climate. Oh, also when I think of deer, I think of Bambi. Like Bambi on the frozen lake. I could do Amari on the frozen lake. Oh, that could be really cute. Like her trying to balance on a frozen lake. She's like, oh no! It's like... Oh, Bambi was one of my favourite films growing up. Like the backgrounds and like the... Artistically speaking, Bambi... cinematic masterpiece in terms of artistic stuff. Yeah, I think I'm definitely going to have her more in like the centre. So it's got kind of like a composition that's like going in this direction. I'm definitely going to have to play around with where or like the scaling within this square, but I think we're onto something with that one. At this point, I've already seen Emily Arts' video, and she drew an ear, and literally, I think she drew an ear, I believe. No, a nose. She drew a nose. I mean, this one could be like a profile shot. Maybe it could be like a profile shot of maybe Ruby? So I actually did draw Ruby on this page. She is actually the character that you can see in like the marker blending. Or it could be one of the royal characters. I know that like with Cinderash, the royal family like have like a lot of the royal families have their own kind of thing going on in terms of appearance. Verona's trait is that they do a lot of braids, or as I call them, plaits. With Cinderash, it's very much a look of like piercings. Like piercings is kind of like a rite of passage for them almost. A little bit like tattoos as well. So, maybe I was going to draw Ruby, but I think the Cinderash idea is going to be better with this one. Like pierce doesn't have to necessarily mean body piercings either. So you've got you have like body piercings, but you also have like the act to pierce something. So like pierce a hole in somebody's heart, like stab. I don't know why I automatically draw hair like that. If this is Spiro, let's just use Spiro as like the de facto person. Since we're drawing a lot of like girls, I've been trying to draw more boys this year, and whether I'm winning at that, I don't know, but like I'm trying. I'm attempting. I definitely drew his hair wrong, but it gives you an indication of it, I guess. I definitely have to go over with another layer when it's dry. I just have to stop beating myself up about not getting more done than I think I should have. So, pierce. I'm thinking like a dagger. Oh, another idea I just thought of in terms of like piercing, like vampires, like the piercing of fangs into your skin. Let's do some blood. So let's just use some acrylic marker over this. Is there enough room? just about. Just about. Ooh, another idea is like piercing eyes. Like eyes that pierce into your soul. I'm definitely going to have to look up some references. Like in terms of vampires, like piercing into the neck of characters. That's a story beat that's coming. And it's a story beat called The Culling. Or in Sims terms, it's called Population Control. This is very, very bad. Sorry. This is not how it's gonna look in its final draft, but Jesus Christ. Also, the head of that vampire is just like way too big. Oh my god. It looks so derpy as well. There are going to be several characters that actually get bitten by a Huxley vampire. Huxley being my vampire kingdom. Okay. I think that's it for this video. Before any more like ridiculous thumbnails can come of this video. Like, yes, we've got like a really, really good one, and then like we have some that are an absolute mess. I'm quite happy, even though we've only got 3 figured out. I'm not entirely sure what I want to go for with Pierce. I'm definitely going to have to do some more refining, especially up here. But I think in terms of the ones I'll go for, that one was an obvious one. It's between, for deer, it's between this one and this one. So like the Bambi on the frozen lake idea, I really like that one. For Pierce, it's a toss-up really for this one. It depends how simple or how complicated I want to make it. If I want to go simple, I'll probably go with this or this. But if I want to have it a little bit more complicated, maybe something like this. I will say, I know I was just about to end the video, but I just want to add a little bit of colour to this, just to like give myself an idea of how it will look. So basically what I'm thinking with this is like having the background be in terms of colour, I'm definitely thinking in the same sort of vein as I actually have the planning sketch for it, but like in the same sort of vein as this this piece. It had like a target kind of thing, and it was black and white, and it had a pop of red kind of colour, so it wouldn't have too much in the way of colour for this one, but it would be very contrast worthy. These are my thumbnails for Inktober for days 4, 5 and 6. I wish I would have done more, but I was getting back into the swing of things, recording a video, and I was also really enjoying the process of picking out colours and just experimenting, having fun. If you think I should do another video like this where I'm just sketching and figuring stuff out and just yapping, I'd love some feedback. I hope you enjoyed this video, and I will see you in my next video. Bye guys!